Hi Sagittarius, this is your forecast for the month of August 2018. This is a general reading for Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Rising, or Sagittarius Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon signs as well. So Sagittarius, this first week of August, you may be very busy. Maybe you're on the go, you're going perhaps traveling. You're having to act quickly with regard to something, and maybe there's some help that you're getting from above. If anything has been a challenge or an obstacle, those blockages could be removed for you. So things are moving swiftly. There's some opportunities arriving on the horizon, and you're going to have to take some quick action. So it's full steam ahead for you and moving forward. Now, this may have to do with a new idea you have, some kind of job offer, maybe, a sudden trip. And you could be getting some news. For some of you, maybe you're even falling in love. This is, a sudden affair that's taking off. So this is a week it's difficult to plan or count on anything to play out the way you think it's going to, because it's a week of surprise, the unexpected, whether that's you or another person or the circumstances. And things are moving very quickly. It could be you attain something this week, some kind of success or recognition, and you feel great about that. So you're going to have to roll with the punches, adjust, to whatever is coming at you. Even if you thought you had a schedule or a plan or a program, you're going to have to change it up. The mix is going to change, whether you choose to do that voluntarily or because you have to. So you're going to have to step back from a situation because things are moving quickly, and you're going to have to rethink something, shift the way you were looking at it so you can be more accurate in your focus. And there's something that you want to either finish up, wrap up, save, promote, launch, and you're going to have to rush to do that because of some new circumstances, some new situations taking place. And you may surprise yourself at how capable you are. You may accomplish a whole lot more in less time than you thought, because this is a week where you're really on top of your game, you're quick on your feet, and you're making good decisions very quickly. But for some of you, maybe you're dealing with people who are very pushy or aggressive, and maybe, you're rushing, going nowhere, you're scattering your energy. And so maybe you need to stop struggling with the situation and accept what it is. It could be that something is running away with you and you feel overwhelmed by that. You can't even get a handle on a situation because it's happening so quickly. So maybe you're experiencing some kind of delay. Could be a delay in your communication. Could be something that is disruptive to your plans. Maybe something is not moving. It's stalled. For some of you, you're dealing with some unexpected situations that create quarrels between you and perhaps another person. Maybe there's some jealousy, or maybe, there's some third parties getting involved in your relationship. Or again, you're wasting your energy because you're putting it in too many places. So things may be out of control. Maybe you're getting some upsetting news, or you're dealing with somebody that is just too pushy. They're trying to force an issue, force your hand with something. So you could also be experiencing some kind of a loss. Could be you lose your job, or your trip is canceled or delayed, or some kind of promise is broken. So there could be some issues that connect to communication, or some problems with transport, some miscommunication. And once again, the unexpected is in focus. Now, the second week, you have a major card. This is an important week for you. For some of you, it ties to a Gemini. So for some of you, maybe there are some travel issues connected to a Gemini, or some kind of communication, or you're having to make a choice to travel, a choice to communicate, or there's an unexpected situation surrounding a partnership of some sort. This week focuses on your connections, your partnerships, could be business colleagues, could be your friends, could be a lover, or you as a couple. For some of you, again, it's that choice, and perhaps a difficult choice because of unexpected circumstances where you have to hurry up and rush something. So you could be on the horns of a dilemma. You may feel like you're faced with an impossible choice. For some of you, if last week's energy was difficult, maybe you decide to separate, or you're just not committed to something anymore, or you realize you're in an unhealthy relationship. For some of you, this is centering around sexuality and somebody, going off the program. So you may be struggling this week. Could be some form of temptation. Now, maybe, if you had a health issue, you're connecting with a healer. But for some of you, you're taking a short trip, you're connecting with somebody that you know, maybe from your past or someone new. There's something about relationship, partnership, and choices surrounding that. And you could be at a fork in the road. Maybe you're reviewing your relationship, or you're thinking about a new relationship, a love affair, and yet something about this connection may be somewhat unsettling. There's a trial or choice or liability. So commitment is in focus, being torn between two options, two lovers, two paths that are very different. So you may feel a great deal of, if you're falling in love with somebody, this could be a week where you feel a lot of desire for that person. Whatever's going on with you, the fortune of this card is that it allows you to repair situations. If something needs to be worked on, or communication needs to be clarified, or a situation needs to be rectified, this week gives you greater understanding. You're more aware of yourself and other people, and you're able to interact in ways that give you some kind of peace of mind. This is a week where one or more people are going to be very important to your destiny, to your future, or again, you may be reconnecting with somebody from your past. Whatever it is, you want to take charge. You feel very responsible. You're dedicated to something or someone. And this is a week where maybe unexpectedly you have a lot of people interested in you. They want to connect to you, whether those are suitors or business prospects. You easily attract people into your circle. And while this is all pleasurable and flattering, they may be the cause of you having to rush. They may derail you somehow, take you off your course, interrupt your objective or your goal. So you're going to have to stay focused. And if you're having a conflict with other people, your ability to be lighthearted, spontaneous, or maintain your sense of humor could be very important, especially if there's a difference of opinion or somebody's being overbearing or pushy. So this is a week where you're going to feel more lighthearted, more happy, more playful, more willing to take a risk. And because your mind is freer, you're doing a whole lot academically, you're very creative, and you're getting notice. People are taking notice of you. You're gaining some recognition. So if you were working on something, maybe you get an award. If this was a new job offer, maybe, you're going to get what you desire, or you're going to get a promotion on your job, or get a bonus, something special or extraordinary that puts you in focus. In some cases, maybe even an apology. But for some of you, regardless of how well things may be going, even the best of relationships experience some kind of tension. And that could happen for you this week. And your first impulse, because you care about this other person, maybe you decide, well, I won't say anything. I'll bite my tongue. But stuffing that back is only going to create more difficulties. You have to express your feelings. And you also have to, accommodate yourself. You have to not try to yield to other people too much, accommodate their circumstances. Maybe, somebody's being too jealous, or giving in too many times, or making too many allowances because they want to be liked or they want to maintain their popularity. So this is you keeping that in check and watching that, and also how you communicate, laying that syrup on, using the charisma, the charm to get past it when really, there's not a lot of substance behind it. This is all smoke and mirrors, pretty words, but not a whole lot as a foundation. So you have to make sure that you're not just using your charm in an exploitive way to get over. And for some of you, there's some kind of communication about a partnership or choice where, again, you're looking for that recognition. You want to feel happy. You want to enjoy life. You want a sense of abundance. And so you may be doing something fun or doing something creative or getting some notice for your efforts. But in some cases, you do have a difficult choice. You're having to look at where you're trying to hold on to something. And, it's just not working. So you're going to have to find that balance, that harmony between what your vision is, your ideal, and what reality is. And you're going to have to meet that place in the middle so that you can be happy. Now, the third week, you have a major card. So the middle of the month is very important for you, very significant. And whatever's going on in the middle of the month is sort of beyond your control. For some of you, maybe there's some kind of communication. You need to satisfy a judgment, or a judgment is being satisfied on your behalf. You could be involved in some kind of legal situation, or you're dealing with people who have the authority to make decisions. Could be a court, the judge, or you're simply, in some cases, learning a negative situation, learning a lesson from a negative situation. Hopefully something doesn't happen where you fail in your attempts for something, or there's an unwelcome ending, or some kind of major life change that you weren't expecting and that you don't want. So whatever it is, you're at this critical juncture. There's some developmental milestone that you've reached in a situation, some momentous choice that you have to make, where you are ending and completing some kind of situation, a project, a relationship, something that you're involved in. And now you're having to step back and take an assessment of it and see what it was worth. So you may be in a position to judge other people, or you may be judged by others. But whatever it is, it's going to ask you to step up to the next level. In some cases, it's going to require that you grow up in some way. There's a change in your position. And so there's the end of a situation that maybe it's a career change, or maybe, again, it's a promotion. You're looking at who you are, and maybe given circumstances, depending on something unexpected, maybe you no longer know exactly who you are. Maybe you're having an identity crisis. But this week requires that you move in a new direction based on your assessment of the past. Could be a new life you're facing, new opportunities. Maybe you wrap something up, could be a final exam. But you're doing this self-appraisal, and you want to improve yourself. You want to regenerate. So for some of you, this may have to do with healing in some way. But you want a fresh start. And it could be that, you are required to take some kind of action about a choice or a partnership that comes about suddenly. Something is reviving that perhaps you thought was dead. And it's causing you to question your choices. Should you continue on this path, or should you change course? Should you continue to act this way, or does this behavior work against you? So you're going to have patience this week. The better you can absorb whatever's going on and deal with the truth, things that the reality of a situation, the more improvement you stand to gain. Because again, this could be in the negative, an unwelcome transition, or somebody is judging you negatively. Maybe you're disappointed with the past. And maybe, you're still having difficulty about making that decision. Could be, you're forced to close something out. And maybe you've been trying to procrastinate. Maybe, again, you're holding on to something you won't let go. There's some kind of loss or separation or something disappointing that has occurred. And now you have to face the music, or you feel you're going to have this private pity party for yourself. Something, though, is going to force you to make the decision, to deal with the truth, to deal with facts that you would rather avoid. And in spite of how difficult this may be, this can also push you to be more successful, to be more of something that maybe you wouldn't have attempted previously. So you're going to have an opportunity, again, to prevent a situation that's negative, or, if you've been headed down the wrong road, you're going to be able to pull the map out and say, you know what, I need to backtrack. I need to take a different direction. Now, that may come about with you clearing the air with somebody. You may need to get some things out in the open so that you can clear up some misconceptions. And when you do that, maybe things become clearer. You get exonerated or vindicated, or there could be, again, this chance to repair a situation where something was going to be a disaster, and then you turn it around based on this new information and your ability to adapt. So once again, patience is required, because it may take a bit longer to resolve a situation than you had anticipated. And until it's completely worked out, you may feel like you're hanging in limbo. So you may feel like all you're doing is putting out fires, or addressing old issues, or facing things you don't want to deal with. And how much progress you make depends on how flexible you are. If you're starting over again and again at square one, it simply means you're not getting the lesson. You need to pay closer attention. For some of you, part of the issue is you having to rush is because you kept putting things off. You kept procrastinating and pushing, and that became your bad luck. So this is a week for you to really get clear. And the only way to do that is sort out your emotions from fact, so that you can make good judgments, so that you can make good decisions, and you won't make the wrong choice, because apparently it's very important. And whichever way you choose, it could take you down a totally different path. And this is also about, having a spiritual lesson in judgment, being critical of others. So maybe you're too quick to blame other people or judge them, and you're not recognizing your own mistakes. So there's something that you're dealing with, some judgment that you're making that appears to be risky. Maybe you're dealing with, the shadow side of yourself, another person, or a situation. Maybe somebody's stalking you in some way, or they're doing something underhanded or manipulative, and you're having to make a judgment about that. Or maybe you're just operating in fear. There's an illusion that you're having to deal with, and you have to make a judgment about that. Maybe you have a fear about being judged or making a decision. But this is the week where you need to acknowledge those fears. Now, the last week you have the 9 of Cups. So this could very well end on a good note. This is about getting your wish, getting what you want. Maybe, you are indulging yourself. You're having a good time. Some of you, maybe you're making some choices about going out to a bar, or restaurant, or social event, connecting to somebody maybe who's wealthy and who can spoil you a bit. So you might be enjoying yourself this week. Maybe you're reviving a partnership, and it came out of the blue or suddenly, and you're making an assessment about, what you're going to do and how you feel about it. For some of you, this is all about that sensual pleasure, or something material, or feeling emotionally contented. It's about your gratification, and whether you or somebody else involved is going too far. Now, maybe you're making a judgment about 2 people, 2 opportunities, 2 lovers, and maybe you get some sudden communication about them, or you end up at the same place all at the same time. Maybe this is about a decision to go out for a drink with somebody that you're attracted to. So there could be something that you desire, that you're moving toward. Maybe you overcome a difficulty, or you make some kind of breakthrough. You get some emotional understanding in a situation. So this could be a very easy week, depending on how you play it. But it's important that your judgment, your assessment of what you want, what you need, and what you desire is accurate, because you very well may get it. This is a week where you can step into something or back out of it at your will. And people are not going to fight you. They're not going to give you a hard time. They're not going to push back. You're not going to get any resistance. But it is important that you deal with the facts, because there's a truth that comes with what you want, some kind of consequence. And should it come true, maybe that's more than you thought. Maybe it's more than you can handle. Maybe it's too much challenge, too much intrigue. So this is a week to get clear on what you want, and you could be rewarded for that. You may get the better deal, the better job, the bigger promotion, the beautiful man, the wealthy partner, the lovely woman. Something you want, you can get. And you have to be careful, though, about how you go about getting it. Remember, the Lover's card says that you could very well exploit your charm to get what you want. And maybe this could be a week where you bend the rules a bit. It's hard for you not to give in to temptation or to, uphold your ethics in a situation. And as a result, you may get a prize and feel like it was a lot less than you had hoped for or expected. For some of you, you're making judgments about overindulgence, where you've gone too far in whatever capacity. Maybe you've been dealing with somebody who's very smug or narcissistic or arrogant, or somebody who is a player, or maybe you're playing that role. So you're having to make a judgment about a partnership. Who are you involved with, and how are you relating? So there's some revelation for you this week, some new perspective based on some new information that you receive, or because you're becoming more aware of yourself. This could also be a week where you really need to make a decision, come up with some kind of judgment. Due to some unexpected circumstances, you need to think outside of the box. You have to be careful about not closing off emotionally if that's not called for. Not letting your ego get the better of you where you're no longer practical. You're not using your common sense. Again, your wish could be delayed, or it may not be what you had hoped it would be. Now, what's driving everything is the Sun card. So this is a very fortunate card. For some of you, the choice may be about decisions you're making, perhaps about children, or, a father, or you being a father, or, being very decisive. Some of you may be dealing with somebody in a leadership position, or you may be focused on your health, your vitality, your happiness, your success, your ambition. Others of you, this perhaps may be about traveling for a vacation. For some of you, this is about making some progress, perhaps in the academic world or some kind of scientific pursuit. Again, you may be dealing with people who are at a very high level of society, prominent people who have influence. So you're making decisions that tie to your destiny, your success, how fulfilled you are, how optimistic you are about the future. What can you attain? What are the opportunities? Are you happy? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you creatively inspired? So this is a month where you are probably going to feel good about life, about yourself. You feel happy. Maybe some good things have happened. You feel satisfied. You got your wish. And you can look at situations positively, of course. So what you may not be expecting, though, and that could be the Eight of Wands, is that when you get your wish, whatever that was, it opens a whole other set of challenges for you to deal with. And maybe you had no idea how involved it would become. So how you respond to your situation is going to be very important. It's important that you understand your role and who all the key players are and how they all interconnect. This is going to be a month where you easily attract good fortune, people of influence, opportunity, good news, and maybe you're sharing all of that happiness with other people. So it's going to be important that you use the sunny side of a situation and not be very judgmental. Even though you have that judgment card, you have to be careful of your judgment so that you can achieve the success you want. Because there's opportunity this month, there's luck. You're looking at the possibilities. And how you deal with situations and your understanding of yourself and others determines whether you can meet a challenge, whether you can deal with difficulty and difficult people. And you have support. I mean, the Sun card is, of course, one of the most fortunate cards in the deck. It speaks of happiness and success, and you have things that you can count on this month. You have a network of people who are loving and supporting and providing good information for you. And so in spite of whatever may come, whether it's unexpected or not, you have something to look forward to, something on the horizon. But it's also a card of health and heat and frustration. And so you have to make sure that you're not pushing too hard, pushing your agenda, pushing yourself physically, pushing emotional boundaries, because you're going to end up burned out. This is about, putting that all-out effort to try to impress somebody or gain that recognition or save a situation when, in fact, it's simply not for you. And it's about, using that Nine of Cups negatively, where somebody is cocky or arrogant or self-involved and, constantly frustrated or angry, or, their temper flares up. So if you're expecting too much, if there are too many demands and you want things to happen yesterday, and again, you're pushing that agenda, or you're dealing with somebody aggressive, you could have some negative situations occur for you this month. This is about using your diplomacy and your charm in the correct way, having a positive outlook so that you don't let your frustration take you down the wrong road. Now, it could also mean that, you need to tighten your belt. You have to be careful that you're not using the Nine of Cups to excess, that there's some extravagance or overindulgence that creates an issue. Now, you have three major cards. So August is going to be an especially emotional or significant month for you. Lots of lessons to be learned. Using your charm, your charisma, your magnetism for good rather than exploiting others. Having patience in situations so that you can effectively make good judgment and not be antagonistic or judgmental or hypercritical toward others. And it's about having confidence, diplomacy, tact in a situation and not allowing frustration to get the better of you. If you can master those key areas, you are guaranteed to come out on the other side a winner. There's something, though, that connects to communication that may be a problem area. Maybe something's not being said, or there's some miscommunication, or somebody's being irrational, or they're not thinking straight, or their thinking is out of hand. And there's a lack of stability. Something is unstable about your circumstances. Maybe, again, somebody's got their head in the clouds, or simply you're in flux. Some things have not come to form yet. You're still working on them. Now, it appears that there's some kind of brilliant idea that's going to take off immediately. Maybe, you're being a quick thinker, or you're having this rapid fire, these rapid fire ideas. There's forward motion. Things are moving quickly. And it could be some initial inspiration to act that may be met with some kind of problem. Yet, this is a solvable problem. And it also suggests a brilliant plan that's going to work. But it also speaks to somebody being very intense. They're easily distracted. There's some mental tension. Perhaps there's even a lack of sleep or some tiredness, some exhaustion, and in some cases, some drama queen behavior. Now, this is not a situation that's going to work out on its own. Somebody knows what they should be doing, and yet, with that Nine of Cups, they are indulging themselves rather than trying to figure things out and deal with it. So it's going to be, an emotional month where you are closing something out so that something new can begin. You're wrapping up some loose ends, dealing with some truths or some situations that you've been putting off that you wanted to avoid, and maybe in the process bringing a bit of controversy or conflict into the mix. All right, Sagittarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, I'd like for you to subscribe. You can also join me on Patreon to receive extras, or at Instagram or my blog for a daily post. And of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.